Hey boys, welcome back to some NRL Supercoach 2021 season. I keep saying season, pre-season discussion. And it's our last positional discussion here. We're looking at the fullbacks. Again, a very, very important position. Some big players, some very expensive players, and a couple of guys that could be sneaky pickups. But yeah, straight off the bat, at the moment, James Tedesco, 840k, averaged 95 last year. I have got him in my team, and I don't expect to switch. I don't think you can not have Tedesco. I just can't not have Tedesco in the team, because he just the way he plays, he's not, unless he cops like an injury or a head knock, he's not gonna score well. So Tedesco for me is honestly a straight in. And then it gets interesting. Who do you put as your second fullback? Now, for me personally, I think you have to have two gun fullbacks. Obviously, you could save a heap of money and go with a cheapie, but I just think you're leaving too many points on the table if you don't go for another gun fullback, because there's so many good ones. So Kalen Pong is second on the list here. It looks like he might miss the first couple of weeks, so that could make the decision easy for a lot of people and not go Ponga. I probably wasn't going to go Ponga either, just because, I mean, spending that much money on two fullbacks is a little bit much. I think there's quite a few really good value players who can score just as well. So yeah, Ponga for me was a bit of a no-go to begin with, and with his injury, a definite no-go. AJ Brimson, I mean, I love Brimson, but he's a little bit too expensive. He finished the year so well that he's now 650k, a little bit too out of reach in my opinion. Pappenhausen, I started the year with Pappenhausen last year, and he didn't start that well. He was okay. He was averaging around 50, and then yeah, he turned it on in the back end of the season and finished off averaging 71. So he's definitely a gun you could pick up. No sweat. I mean, the Storm are going to be very good this year. I don't see any change for Pappenhausen. Teams could target him a bit more, because obviously he's a little body, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to really, rough him up a bit. But I still see him having a big year. Clint Gutherson, Dylan Edwards. I mean, again, they both had really good years, but I couldn't really go either of these guys. I just think there's better options for similar prices. Zach Lomax, similar. I couldn't really go. Tom Draboevich, now it gets interesting. Tom, obviously, he didn't play much last year. He's shown, I mean, him and Tedesco in the past have been like 1 and 2 for the top point scorers, and he's starting really cheap for what he can do. 590k. It's gonna be hard not to have him, and I'm very tempted to try and bring him in, but there's one guy that I am very keen on. So not Dufty, not Allen, not Latrell Mitchell, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Average, tick under 60, 520k, which is pretty darn cheap for Tuivasa-Sheck. Has obviously announced that he's going to rugby union next year. I actually had Tuivasa-Sheck in my team before he made the announcement, just because I thought 520k for RTS. I think that's pretty good value. So that's why I had him on my team. But with this news that he's going to rugby union, I'm like, he's a guy that he'll want to finish the year strongly, and he does every year. I mean, he's a guy that puts in every single game, but he'll want to finish with the Warriors on a big note for sure. So I think I can see him just having an absolute monster year. So for me at the moment, I've got Tedesco and Tuivasa-Sheck. Tommy's going to be tough to leave out, but I like that combination. Valentine Holmes, like I said in the center wing, I'd probably have him in the centers, so you can have like more gun fullbacks. Then we go down here. I mean, Chance, Nickel Klokstad. He's a sneaky pickup because he had a bit of a down year last year. But you get into guys that are just not quite up to the same caliber. And you just, in my opinion, you're just not going to spend the money. If you're going to go someone cheaper, you would go with someone really cheap. I mean, a Matty Moylan potentially to save a lot of money. Tessie Niu potentially. Some of these guys that are very cheap. Again, personally for me, I couldn't go with... I personally couldn't go with a cheapie. I think you do need 2 gun fullbacks, but... You know, I can see the benefit of it because you can spend big money on somewhere else, but it's like you could spend the money on the fullback. You know, are you really gaining that much? Like, let's say instead of going, you know, a Draboevich, you go someone like, I don't know, Ryan Maddison as well in your back row. Are you really going to make that much more over the course of the year? I don't think so. It's pretty negligible in my opinion, and I just feel like the fullbacks, they're the, you know, as long as they don't get injured, obviously, but they're generally going to be some of the highest point scorers. So, yeah, in my opinion, Tedesco is the top of the echelon. I do expect him to drop in price. So if you, you know, if you're trying to be really funky with it, you could. I could see someone not going to Tedesco for a few weeks and letting his price come down, but I don't know. Even if he scores like 60s, 70s, you know, his price will drop, but it's still good. It's still good points. So I don't know. I think spending the money up front is still a good option to just have Tedesco in the team and not have to worry about it. Kalen Ponga, with the injury, I think he is a very good pickup, but yeah, personally I wasn't going to go him. Brimson, I think he's a little bit expensive, and then Pappenhausen is probably the other top 4 here that I would genuinely consider. And then we go down to Tom Draboevich, who I think is very, very good value, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Those guys are the ones that I'm keen on, but at the moment, RTS and James Tedesco. So yeah, this is a big swinger as well, like the center wing. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the preseason discussions. I'll definitely come up with like a draft video, or like a team draft video. I'll go through my initial team, my team list, see how we're lining up, and obviously it'll change a lot over the next month or so, but it'll be the initial one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know the fullbacks you're leaning towards, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.